There's a version of you, disciplined, focused, calm, untouchable, already inside. But to become that version, you'll have to let go of comfort, noise, and people who secretly hope you stay small. This video isn't for everyone, it's for those who are done being distracted and ready to become dangerous in the best way. If that's you, don't blink, because we're about to begin. Let's get something straight, something harsh, but necessary. The world doesn't care if you win. Society isn't built to help you thrive. It's built to distract you, drain you, and keep you endlessly chasing things that ultimately don't matter. Your energy, people want to consume it. Your time, they'll waste it without hesitation. Your focus, they'll hijack it to serve their own goals and leave you running on empty. Here's the brutal truth. The more you prioritize others over yourself, the more powerless you become. But the moment you flip the switch, the moment you decide to reclaim your time, protect your energy, and focus that power inward, that's the moment you become unshakable. That's when you become untouchable. Welcome to Stoic, buddy, where we don't sugarcoat reality. We embrace it, we learn from it, and we use it as fuel to build stronger, freer lives. If you're serious about taking back control, drop a comment below. My mind is my fortress. Let's dive in. Why you must prioritize yourself. The Stoic Foundation. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, once said, "A man's worth is no greater than his ambitions." Let that sink in. Because if your ambitions are shaped by what others want, your parents, your friends, society, then what does that say about your actual worth? The truth is, most people are living in a mental prison and don't even realize it. They spend their whole lives chasing external validation, molding themselves into shapes that please others, all while slowly losing their identity. They work jobs they secretly hate to impress people they barely respect. They buy things they don't need to keep up appearances they don't even believe in. They trade away their freedom for the illusion of belonging. But here's the wake-up call. No one is coming to save you. No one is going to hand you the life you dream about. If you don't put yourself first, if you don't make your goals, your health, your growth a priority, you will forever be controlled by those who do. And here's the kicker. The more you give without setting boundaries, the more people take you for granted. They won't thank you. They won't appreciate you. They'll just expect more. The world doesn't respect people who give everything away. It respects people who respect themselves first. Now, does that mean you should become selfish? Never care about anyone else? Of course not. But there's a massive difference between helping others from a place of strength and letting them drain you because you never learned to say no. A Stoic understands that. So once you understand that putting yourself first isn't selfish, it's necessary, what comes next? Balance, discipline, and ownership. Because before you can bring real value to the world, you have to master something much harder, yourself. When you make yourself your top priority, everything changes. Your mindset, it shifts. You stop begging for attention. You stop chasing people who only offer breadcrumbs of respect. You stop letting guilt, fear, or obligation manipulate your choices. Instead, you become grounded, self-reliant. You evolve into someone who doesn't need approval to feel whole, because you know your worth from the inside out. Ironically, and this is the paradox, the moment you stop looking for validation is exactly when people start giving it to you. They sense it, that energy, that independence. They respect what they can't control, and they can't control you anymore. So ask yourself this: who are you living for? Are you building a life that serves your purpose? Or are you just a background character in someone else's script? If this is hitting you hard, good. That means it's time to change. Drop a comment below. I choose myself because if you don't, no one else will. The illusion of control. Stop chasing external validation. Here's another brutal truth most people avoid. You can't control how others see you. You never could. But people spend their entire lives pretending they can. They adjust their personality, their appearance, their words, just to be accepted. They filter themselves until there's barely anything real left. They perform like actors on stage, always worried about audience approval. But let me ask you, what's the point? If you try to be perfect, they'll call you fake. If you make mistakes, they'll call you a failure. If you succeed, they'll say you just got lucky. And if you finally start focusing on yourself, they'll call you selfish. So really, why should you care? Epictetus, the great Stoic philosopher, said it best. Some things are within our control, and some are not. And what's in your control? Your thoughts, your actions, your responses. Everything else, out of your hands. Still, most people live in constant fear of judgment, paralyzed by what others might think. Their decisions, their dreams, their entire lives, shaped by people who don't even matter. But let's go deeper. Why do people crave validation so desperately? Because deep down they don't trust themselves. They're insecure. They're unsure. They don't feel worthy on their own, so they chase external approval like it's oxygen. But here's what dark psychology teaches us. The moment you stop seeking validation, you instantly become more powerful than 99% of people. Why? Because you're no longer controlled by guilt, by pressure, by the desperate need to fit in. You become unshakable, and once you stop needing their approval, that's when they start giving it to you. When you move through the world with quiet confidence, when you stop reacting to every petty opinion, people feel that energy. They can't manipulate you. They can't throw you off center. And that makes you powerful. So once you've stopped caring what others think of you, something powerful begins to shift inside. But let's be honest, those old habits creep in. You catch yourself thinking, what will people say if I do this? How will they see me? Stop. Remind yourself, it doesn't matter. Their opinions won't pay your rent. Their approval won't heal your soul. Their praise won't build the life you actually want. The only thing that truly matters is this. How do you see yourself? When you look in the mirror, do you respect who you're becoming? Because the moment you stop giving weight to external validation, the moment you decide that your mind belongs to you, you become unstoppable. If you're ready to reclaim that power, drop a comment below. My mind belongs to me. Let's go deeper. Dark psychology. How people manipulate your focus most. People have no idea how easily their attention is controlled. They believe they're making independent choices. They think they're thinking their own thoughts. But in reality, they're being played. Their thoughts, their emotions, even their desires, carefully shaped and steered by people around them. This is where dark psychology enters the picture. Because the truth is, the world is filled with people, some well-meaning, some not, who thrive on stealing your focus. Friends who guilt-trip you, bosses who overwork you, partners who emotionally manipulate you, social media algorithms that hijack your attention and keep you scrolling for hours. They don't want you focused on your goals. They don't want you fully present, powerful, and grounded. They want you distracted, emotionally dependent, easy to control. Let's break this down. Here are 3 common psychological tactics people use to drain your energy and keep you from leveling up. The guilt trap. Ever notice how some people suddenly act disappointed or offended the moment you set boundaries? That's not just hurt feelings, that's a manipulation tactic. They want you to feel guilty for prioritizing yourself. They want to condition you into serving their needs at the expense of your own. But here's the truth. You don't owe anyone your time, energy, or emotional labor. A Stoic knows guilt only has power if you give it permission. The moment you stop reacting to these emotional traps, people lose control over you. The scarcity illusion. Toxic people will convince you that if you walk away, you'll be alone. That if you cut ties, you'll regret it. That if you stop chasing them, you'll lose something irreplaceable. But the truth is, they need you more than you need them. They create a false sense of scarcity to keep you stuck, to keep you afraid. They want you to believe that they are the prize, when really, they're the cage. Once you realize your worth, once you see that you're not dependent on their presence, you become dangerous. You become someone who can no longer be manipulated. The attention hijack. Now think about this. How much time, energy, and mental bandwidth have you lost to gossip, petty arguments, or pointless drama? Every time you take the bait, you're giving away your most precious resource, your focus. Focus is power. And the more scattered your mind is, the easier it is to control you. The Stoic path is about keeping your mind clear, your attention sharp, and your energy aligned. Because if you don't control your focus, someone else will. And that's exactly what they want. Because the more distracted you are, the less time you have to build yourself, to grow, to create the life you were meant to live. That's why the greatest Stoic minds, Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, Epictetus, emphasized one core principle again and again: solitude, a clear mind, a focused heart. A person who is alone but not lonely, because their energy is their own. A focused mind is an unbreakable mind. So if you've ever felt pulled in 100 directions, if you feel like everyone wants something from you, it's time to take your power back. Stop explaining yourself. Stop reacting to people who never truly cared. Stop justifying your choices to those who never had your best interests at heart. From this moment forward, choose you. Drop a comment below. I refuse to be controlled. Because once you break free from these subtle manipulation tactics, what's left isn't just freedom, it's clarity, it's strength, it's peace. The power of emotional detachment. Why indifference is strength. The moment you master emotional detachment, you become unstoppable. Why? Because no one can control you with their words, their opinions, or their behavior anymore. They lose the ability to pull your strings. And when they can't control your emotions, they lose all control over you. This is one of the greatest lessons in Stoic philosophy. Marcus Aurelius said it perfectly. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Think about that. How many times have you let a rude comment ruin your whole day? How often have you obsessed over someone's opinion when deep down you knew it didn't matter? The world is built to provoke you, to trigger a reaction, to keep you emotionally unstable, because that's when you're easiest to manipulate. But here's the truth. Indifference is strength. Why indifference makes you untouchable? Most people react emotionally to everything because they are too attached to validation, to image, to control. But a person who has learned the art of calm detachment, that person becomes unshakable. When you're indifferent to insults, chaos, and criticism, people don't know how to handle you. They try harder to provoke you. They push your buttons, but you stay still. You don't move. And here's the paradox. The less you react, the more powerful you appear. Because true control isn't about dominating others. It's about mastering yourself. How to develop emotional detachment the Stoic way. Detach from approval. Stop worrying about what others think. Their opinions don't alter your reality. Detach from outcomes. Focus on your effort, not the result. You control what you do, not what happens after. Detach from negativity. When someone tries to provoke you, stay grounded. A reaction is what they want. Don't hand it to them. Detach from drama, arguments, gossip, petty games. They cost you peace. And nothing is worth your peace. Your mind is a fortress. And like any great fortress, it must be protected from noise, from drama, from distractions. Because indifference doesn't mean apathy. It doesn't mean you don't care about anything. It means you care deeply, but only about what truly matters. So the next time someone tries to drag you into chaos, provoke you, or shake your energy, remember this. A Stoic mind is like a mountain, unmoved by the wind, unshaken by the storm. Silent, still, steady, stay calm, stay grounded, stay in control. And if you're ready to master the art of emotional detachment, drop a comment below. I control my mind. Because once you do, once your emotions no longer control you, no one else can either. The Stoic art of self-mastery, discipline over distraction. Now we move into one of the most overlooked powers in modern life. Discipline. The average person today isn't enslaved by a system, a government, or another person. They're enslaved by something far sneakier. Their own impulses. They wake up and instantly grab their phone, scroll for hours, drown themselves in endless entertainment, seek comfort, avoid discomfort, then wonder, why do I feel lost? Why do I feel weak? But a Stoic sees this for what it is, a trap. Seneca said it best, no man is free who is not master of himself. That's the truth. If you don't control your thoughts, your habits, your reactions, you are not free. You are at the mercy of every distraction, every emotional spike, every fleeting desire. And in today's world, distraction is the new enemy. Social media, clickbait, cheap dopamine, mindless scrolling. It's all designed for one thing: to keep you weak, because a distracted mind is an obedient mind. And a society full of obedient minds? That's exactly what the system wants. They don't want you to think. They want you to consume. The power of mastering. Your self-true power doesn't come from wealth or fame. It comes from self-control. Control over your emotions. Control over your reactions. Control over your impulses. A person who has mastered themselves, they don't need anything from the world, because their strength comes from within. Look at the greatest Stoics: Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, Seneca. They didn't waste their time chasing distractions. They didn't fear discomfort. They trained their minds like warriors train their bodies, and in doing so, they built an inner fortress that no external force could shake. How to build unbreakable discipline, the Stoic way. Train your mind to resist comfort. The more you chase ease, the weaker you become. Discomfort is your training ground. Limit your inputs. The more information you consume, the more confused and reactive you become. Guard your attention. Cut the noise. Avoid mindless scrolling. Social media isn't connection, it's consumption. Choose stillness over stimulation. Master your time. Every wasted moment is a step toward mediocrity. Guard your minutes like a warrior guards his sword. Act. Don't overthink. Most people hesitate. They wait for the perfect time. But a Stoic moves with clarity and purpose. Detach from outcome. You don't control results. You control the process. Do the work. Stay consistent. Let the rest unfold. Because in the end, a man who controls himself can never be conquered. A man who controls himself controls his destiny. But a man without discipline? He is controlled by everything around him: distractions, opinions, emotions, and impulses. So the question is simple. Who do you want to be if you're ready to break the chains of distraction and step into self-mastery? Drop a comment below. I choose discipline over comfort. Because once you make that decision, once you commit to it fully, everything begins to change. Silence and solitude, how they make you unstoppable. Most people today fear silence, not because silence is dangerous, but because it forces them to face the one person they've been avoiding the most, themselves. They drown in noise. They stay busy. Constant notifications, endless scrolling, background chatter. They fear being alone with their thoughts, so they smother them with distraction. But a Stoic knows the truth. Solitude is not loneliness. It is strength, because when you remove the noise, when you sit still in silence with nothing but your own mind, that's when you gain a clarity the world will never offer you. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire, yet still carved out time to retreat into his thoughts, writing, reflecting, questioning himself. Seneca urged the practice of being alone, not to escape the world, but to sharpen the mind, to build clarity, to master the self. Because here's the truth. Only in solitude can you truly understand who you are. Why solitude makes you stronger. You gain clarity. Without the constant noise of opinions, gossip, and distractions, your mind clears. You begin to see what truly matters. You become self-reliant. Most people lean on others for validation, for identity, for meaning. But a Stoic is whole, complete within himself. You learn emotional control. In solitude, no one can provoke you. No one can push your buttons. You learn to master your emotions without interference. You become more powerful. The man who speaks less, listens more, and moves in silence. That is the man people fear. That is the man people respect. Society will try to convince you that constant socializing is necessary, that solitude is unnatural, that being alone is dangerous. But ask yourself, why do they tell you that? Because the man who enjoys his own company, the man who doesn't need the crowd, cannot be controlled. The most powerful individuals in history, they didn't build their strength in the spotlight. They disappeared into silence. They went inward. They trained. They broke down and rebuilt themselves. And when they returned, they were sharper, stronger, and completely untouchable. The weak crave noise. The strong, they find power in stillness. If this resonates with you, drop a comment. I thrive in silence. Because once you embrace solitude, you become truly unstoppable. Sometimes the most powerful act of self-love is letting go. Because while you're growing, evolving, and striving for something greater, there are people in your life acting like anchors. They're not helping you climb. They're pulling you back down. Some are distractions, clouding your vision with drama, doubt, and negativity. Others are emotional parasites, feeding off your time, your energy, your focus, while giving nothing in return. And here's the hardest truth of all. The biggest mistake you can make is holding on to people who no longer align with your growth. But most people, they can't walk away. They fear loneliness. They fear awkward conversations. They fear guilt. So they stay stuck, drained, unfulfilled. But a Stoic knows detachment is necessary for evolution. Seneca said, associate with people who are likely to improve you. And the unspoken half of that quote, cut off those who don't. Signs. It's time to cut someone off. They drain your energy. After every conversation, you feel exhausted, not uplifted. They disrespect your growth. They mock your ambition, belittle your goals, and try to keep you small. They use guilt as control. They make you feel bad for setting boundaries, for prioritizing yourself, for saying no. They bring nothing but negativity, constant complaining, gossip, blame, never learning, never changing, never cheering for you. They don't celebrate your wins. A real friend claps when you rise. A fake one grows bitter in silence. The power of walking away. When you walk away from someone toxic, you're not just cutting them off. You're choosing yourself. And that is a rare kind of strength. Most people cling to harmful relationships because of fear. But the strong, they walk away. No hesitation, no apologies. Cutting someone off doesn't mean you hate them. It means you love yourself enough to protect your peace, to honor your energy, to respect your time, to preserve your clarity. And once you do that, something incredible happens. You begin to attract better people, sharper minds, stronger standards, because your energy is no longer wasted on people who never deserved it. The moment you stop chasing shallow connections, the right ones start appearing naturally. But first you must clear the space. So ask yourself, who in your life is no longer aligned with your future? Who is keeping you stuck in a version of yourself you've already outgrown? And most importantly, do you have the courage to let them go without looking back? If you do, comment below. I release what no longer serves me. Because once you make that decision, fully, completely, you unlock a new level of personal power, a level where you owe nothing to anyone except yourself. Most people believe confidence comes from the outside, from money, from status, from appearance, from how others see them. But a Stoic knows better. True confidence? It comes from within, because external validation is fragile. One harsh comment and it crumbles. One failure and it fades. One rejection and it vanishes. Why? Because it was never real to begin with. It was borrowed, not built. But the unshakable mind, that's different. It's forged from the inside out. And when you build it the Stoic way, no opinion, no loss, no criticism can break you. How to build unshakable confidence. The Stoic way: detach from validation. Stop relying on likes, compliments, or applause. A Stoic validates himself. Embrace hardship. Every challenge is a gift. The more you struggle, the stronger you become. Choose growth over comfort. Control your reactions. Confidence isn't loud. It's calm. The one who stays composed under pressure, that's real power. Own your presence. Speak less. Observe more. Carry yourself with quiet strength. Remember, the loudest person in the room is usually the weakest. Master your mindset. Confidence is simply the belief that you can handle anything, and that belief is built through action. Look around. Most people are desperate to be liked, to be accepted, to feel worthy. But here's the truth. The moment you stop needing approval is the moment people start giving it to you, because people respect those who respect themselves first. Real confidence isn't about proving anything. It's about walking your path so fully that comparison becomes irrelevant. You don't compete. You don't seek permission. You just exist in your truth. And that makes you untouchable. If you're ready to step into that power, comment below. I am enough as I am. Because once you believe that, no one can ever make you feel small again. The final Stoic truth. The path to ultimate freedom. At the end of the day, it all comes down to one thing. Freedom. The freedom to think clearly. The freedom to feel fully. The freedom to move through life on your terms. Most people will never taste this. They'll live trapped in toxic relationships, in fear, in the opinions of others, chasing distractions, chasing validation, chasing everything except what matters. And by the time they wake up, it will be too late. But you still have a choice. You can follow them, stay reactive, stay small, stay lost. Or you can take control. You can master your mind. You can build the life you were meant to live. Because true freedom isn't money. It's not fame. It's not external power. It's self-mastery. It's knowing that you control your reality, that you walk with peace, that you move with purpose, that nothing outside of you can shake what you've built inside. That is the Stoic path. And here's the final truth. The moment you stop caring about what doesn't serve you is the moment you become truly free. Now, it's time for action. If you've made it this far, you're not like most people. You're not just watching, you're awakening. So declare it now. Drop a comment below. I am the master of my fate. Let the world hear it. Let yourself believe. And if you're truly serious about leveling up, like this video, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Because this is just the beginning. This is where you reclaim your focus, your discipline, your life. Stay sharp, stay grounded. And always remember, the only path to true success and lasting peace is to focus solely on yourself. If what you heard in this video made you think differently, feel deeply, or want to take action, hit that like button. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications, because what's coming next will go even deeper, more real, more powerful. Drop a comment below. I am the master of my fate. Let that be your first declaration on the path to mastering your mind and building your life. I'll see you in the next video. Stay disciplined, stay grounded, and never stop moving forward.